Synth TV.
What's up, everybody? It's JB here for Synth TV. Today we're going to be taking a look at Frank Zappa, Cheaper Than Cheap, a release I'm super excited about, as if you couldn't tell. Before we get started on that, I want to ask you to please subscribe to this channel for more cultural content coming out regularly. Please consider underwriting the efforts. There are links to Patreon, Ko-Fi, etc., merch, all of that down there below. And if you like what you see here, please do share this video out. Tell a friend about the channel. Let everyone know about what wonderful things we do here. You know what I'm talking about? Hey, I'm talking to you, pretty one out there. In any case, Frank Zappa, Cheaper Than Cheap. Let's get back to the topic at hand. Oh man, when this was released, I started just going nuts. The 1974 Frank Zappa band, that's got to be, you know what I'm saying, one of my favorite eras of Frank Zappa, and probably one of the best bands, let's put it that way, that ever existed, in my opinion. Those bands that were anchored by Tom Fowler on the bass and George Duke on the keyboards between 1973 and 1975, you know what I'm talking about? That golden age of Frank Zappa, where it was not only the writing and the really interesting advanced kind of jazz, classical, kind of rock thing, but it had those grooves and that funk down in there. And I'm telling you, it's unbeatable stuff. This was just, it's like manna from heaven, you know what I mean? Some people called it the holy grail of Frank Zappa releases. Around this household, you know, we call it the Kodesh Kodeshim, but you know what I'm talking about. Hey, Mazel Tov. Yeah, moving right on. In any case, here it is, Frank Zappa, Cheaper Than Cheap. We actually got the 2 CD and Blu-ray edition and just finished watching it, and my mind is racing, man. I mean, it's so inspiring. Like, for all of these Zappa fanatics out there, if you want to place this video in the chronological timeline with the other videos that have been recently released, let's say, this is after Roxy, the movie, but this is before A Token of His Extreme. So it's about halfway between there. And the band is a little bit different from what we saw on the Roxy, the movie. There's no Bruce Fowler on trombone. There's no additional drums by Ralph Humphrey. We have Chester Thompson on the drums. We got Tom Fowler on bass. We got on rhythm guitar, we had the return of Jeff Simmons. You know what I'm talking about? Man, it's just as if Donovan himself appeared on my very own wall-mounted TV screen with words of peace, love, and eternal cosmic wisdom. I am your good conscience, Jeff. I know all, I see all. I am a cosmic love pulse matrix becoming a technicolor interpositive. You know what I'm talking about? For everyone who's watched 200 Motels too many times on your crappy little VHS tape, that's for you out there. Moving on, we got George Duke on keyboards. We got Napoleon Murphy Brock on tenor saxophone and flute and vocals and amazing dancing. We got the indescribably wonderful Ruth Underwood on percussion, and holy mackerel, every time, you know, the more you see her and what she does and the exuberance and the positivity she brings to the music, the more you just gotta love her. In addition to that, Ruth wrote some very wonderful liner notes in the little booklet that we'll take a look at in a little bit, that kind of gives a little kind of perspective on what was going on in, you know, the Zappaverse at the time, and little notes on some of the compositions there. So, man, unbelievable, unbelievable. And of course, we got Frank on guitar and vocals and droll humor, you know what I mean, kind of over there on the side. Now, musically, again, you know, we have an idea of what this band sounds like. We heard the Roxy and Elsewhere album. Like I said, it's from the same era. So we have an idea of what some of the compositions, some of the repertoire of the bands were here. Let's just take a look at the CD. I'm just going to pull this up and talk about some notes. You know, we start with Cheaper Than Cheap. There's an introduction in there, and it's basically, remember on the Roxy the movie, we had the percussion only version of cheapness, and it starts out like, oh, is this going to be another version of that? It kind of goes into cheapness, and then it kind of moves into something else. But we start with, as many Frank Zappa concerts do, once we really get rolling on this thing, we start with blues, and we start with Cosmic Debris, which is, one of his kind of traditional openers. And so it kind of warms the band up. Everyone gets a little solo, that kind of thing. And we go through a number of the kind of like 74 repertoire. We got Redunzel, an amazing version of Redunzel. Let me tell you this, this version of Redunzel. I mean, in her notes, Ruth is a little self-deprecating about her performance on this, but holy mackerel, I mean, she's playing some, there's all those little kind of twisting phrases in the melody line of this, and she's playing some of those things. The arrangement's a little different. She's playing some of those phrases at like double speed, and it's like, I can't believe this. I can't believe what I'm hearing. I mean, it's just wild. It's just amazing. We go into Village of the Sun, which is the kind of up-tempo version of it that we've heard before, and there's some other little bits. What's wonderful about this music is the constantly changing arrangements of this era. If you think you know what these tunes are going to sound like, inevitably they'll throw, one of those little wrenches in there, and Zappa's constantly calling out, I think they call it the hook. We've heard that in a number of Zappa tunes of the era. So, it's always, these arrangements are constantly changing, developing. We go to Montana. We go to Duke Goes Out, which is an improvisation led by George Duke, and there's a little video interlude on the Blu-ray, and they go visit Cal Schenkel, and of Cal Schenkel, of course, the artist who was responsible for many of the designs of the Zappa album covers, and Bruce Bickford. If you don't know Bruce Bickford, you've seen that animation, that clay animation in a number of these Zappa things, and Baby Snakes, in Token of His Extreme, so on and so forth. There's a little visit with them at the time. It's just fantastic stuff. It kind of breaks things up a little bit. There's a little interlude in there. We get right back into it with Inca Roads, a very different arrangement because we don't have, there's a famous Zappa tune, Variations on the Carlos Santana secret chord progression, that kind of vamp. Bum, 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 bum. Well, I would say this Inca Roads doesn't have the notorious Frank Zappa secret chord progression where he does that major to minor thing, kind of going back and forth. You know what I'm talking about? And he does this Lydian solo over the top of it. It doesn't have that in the arrangement. It kind of has that, I'm not going to try to, whistle or hum the little melody line, but one of the melody lines from Inca Roads is used as a vamp, sort of, and they solo over it. It's a little bit closer to what we heard on the Erie 74. And you remember the Erie box set that came out a little bit back? The Erie box set had that arrangement of Inca Roads. It's a little bit like that, but it's a little bit moving towards the arrangement that we know and love so much. You know what I mean? Moving on. From there, we got Get Down Simmons, which is one of those Zappa hand signal improvisation kind of thing, cued improvisation, and it's wild, it's great, and it benefits, of course, from being able to see what's going on. Sometimes those things, when you listen to them on albums, it's like, what's going on? But to see what's going on, it's like, it's fantastic. Penguin in Bondage, To Mercy Dween, Dog Breath Variations, Uncle Meat, man, solid gold all the way through it. Then we go on to what had happened just a few months earlier was what was billed as the Mothers of Invention 10th anniversary concert. Mothers, of course, starting in 1964. So they play a number of the tunes that appeared first on Freak Out, right? How Could I Be Such a Fool? I'm Not Satisfied, Wowie Zowie. Just wow, just great arrangements. Really, it's like you recognize the tune and the melody line, but it's like it sounds like 74 Zappa, and that's the thing of it. Like I said, the arrangements are constantly changing with this band, and it's just, they really hit it. Now, this is one of those things that took me by surprise. I don't even care. Now, this tune is next. This is one of these tunes. This didn't appear until Frank Zappa Meets the Mothers of Prevention, which came out in what, like 82, 83, like 8-9 years later, and it had a Johnny Guitar Watson vocal over the top of it. But it's recognizable in the embryonic form, if you like, here. But, you know, that's one of those things, again, about Zappa, because I remember, you know, Inca Roads, that ba-da-da-da-da-ba-da-da-ba-ba-ba, you know, came, that was actually first performed back with the, what, 1971 band with Flo and Eddie, like 3 years before, well, Inca Roads didn't come out until 75 on an album, right? So it was like 4 years before it was released. Fantastic stuff. Again, you know, just the wealth of material, being able to, oh, this is a fantastic tune, but I got other priorities to record now. It's just like, oh man, fantastic. How many times did I say fantastic right there? You know what I'm talking about? Who's counting? Don't worry about it. Let's continue on. Moving on from there, let's make the water turn black. You know, one of my favorite Zappa melodies, and given a very different arrangement here, just really, you know, the strengths of this band, again, are just the grooves, and Napoleon's singing is so wonderful and so expressive. He really brings a different dimension to that song, just the same way he did to The Idiot Bastard Son that we saw back on the Roxy film. He took that, you know, 67, 68, whenever that was first released, and turned it into something really, really different. But it's a recognizable melody, just like he did with Oh No, a little bit later on, but we're getting ahead of ourselves there. You know what I mean? Dupree's Paradise introduction and Dupree's Paradise itself. Of course, this arrangement of Dupree's Paradise is very much in the kind of jazz fusion vein, if you like. This tune first started appearing, as far as I know, with the 73 band, back with Jean-Luc Ponty. And just, man, they just nailed it. This was like a vehicle for blowing back then, and it still is here. But it's the entire band just working as a really super tight ensemble is just, man, this is the band. This band could do anything. This band could do anything, really. I mean, they had the grooves, they could improvise, they could play the most rigorously composed music and just make it like swing like a motherfucker, you know what I'm talking about? Anyways, moving on. Then we get to Oh No, Son of Orange County, More Trouble Every Day. We kind of know this arrangement from the original Roxy and Elsewhere kind of string of things, and also on the Token of His Extreme video. Wonderful stuff. Apostrophe, we have a live version of the title track from the album, which would be released also in 1974, right? And just, it kind of takes it to a different place. The melody is slightly rearranged, and again, it has something for Ruth to do there with the mallets, and just Tom Fowler takes a ripping bass solo, fantastic bass solo, and then we end with Camarillo Brillo, you know what I'm saying, which, you know what I'm saying, hey, you know what I'm saying, it's a feel-good tune, and it gets the audience up and dancing, and it's just wonderful. Okay, the video quality itself, you know, it was shot on video. It's not you know, it's not 4K, high def, whatever, but you know, the quality of the video is great. You know, it's the performance that really nails it and cuts through, you know, all the rest of it. Yeah, it's like, as they talk about in the booklet, there were kind of challenges. It was hot as hell in there, whatever, you know, and it's just, you know, sometimes the lighting could be a little dodgy at times, but, you know, hey, you know, as far as a record of this band, you know, indispensable, totally indispensable. There's some extras on the Blu-ray, which again, there's an incomplete performance of Time Is Money. And it's like, man, this is one of my favorite Zappa tunes. And as far as I know, now leave me a note in the comments if you have information to the contrary, but I think this may be the only performance, like in front of an audience, of this particular tune. Like I said, if I'm wrong, I'd love to be proved wrong. And if you even have a recording of it, hey, I'd love to hear it. You know what I'm saying? But this is just amazing. And Joe Travers, if you're out there watching this video, please put together a Hunch and Toot box set. I need the Hunch and Toot stuff all in one area. If anyone out there watching don't know what Hunch and Toot is, you know what I'm saying, just look up Frank Zappa, Hunch and Toot, and you'll figure it all out from there. Queen of Cosmic Greed, you know, Drachma the Spider, the whole thing, you know what I mean? Oh, amazing. There's also an incomplete performance of Echidna's Arf of You, and, you know, there's, you know, again, maybe it was left out because there's a few mistakes in there, whatever, you know what I'm saying? But it's like, you're talking about some incredibly complex music played at these, like, these breakneck tempos. It's like, I'm surprised, you know, there aren't more mistakes, whatever, you know what I mean? There's also, there's a little excerpt from, speaking of Bruce Bickford, you know what I mean? There's a little excerpt from The Amazing Mr. Bickford, or is it The Incredible Mr. Bickford? I forget exactly what the title is. I'm just, you know, flying off the seat of my pants here. But again, Bruce Bickford, as far as claymation, just unparalleled stuff. Unparalleled, you know what I mean? If you love Wallace and Gromit or whatever, you know what I'm saying, you want to see some other claymation, you know what I'm saying, strap yourself in and try to check this stuff out, because it'll blow your freaking mind. It'll blow your freaking mind, man. Just wild stuff. Let's take a look at the disc here. Look at the package. Okay, when the package arrived, it came with these No D glasses. You'll remember the No D glasses. You know, if you bought something from Honker Video, you know what I mean, back in the 80s, hey, you know what I'm talking about? You bought your True Story of 200 Motels VCR, you know, or VHS tape, you know what I'm talking about. Anyways, let's look at the package here. Gonna unfold it, you know. Here we go. Oh, a little gatefold. Oh, it unfolds again. Look at that. We got this booklet right here. Flip through that a little bit. And we get the Blu-ray. All right, get the CDs. Photos. Fantastic, like I said, notes by Ruth, Underwood. Just, you know, not only an amazing musician, but an amazing human being. I mean, the way she writes these things, you know. All in all, it just an incredible package. If you're a Zappa fan, give me a break. Do I even need to tell you that you need to go get this thing? You need to go get this thing. It's a full concert performance. It's like 2 hours, man. It's like a full show. I mean, unlike, you know, A Token of His Extreme, which is, you know, kind of a shortened version of what a Zappa, you know, gig might be like, whatever. This is a full 2 hour stretch, and you're definitely getting bang for your buck here, man. The band is just incredible. Yeah, you know, there's like some mistakes or whatever, however you want to say it, but there's going to be, you know. I mean, if you want, you know, impeccable, you know, no mistakes or whatever, I mean, you can go find something else. You know, maybe this isn't for you. If you want to go there and be a critic and say, oh, well, you know, I think Ruth hit a wrong note right there. You know, it's like, I don't, you know, give me a break, all right? I mean, we're talking about Ruth Underwood, man. And just the whole band, like I said. And, you know, for those surprised that Jeff Simmons made this kind of reappearance after he was kind of so savagely mocked going back to 200 Motels again, hey, man, he looks like he's having a great time. And it's just like, hey, you know, the guy had a thick skin and whatever, you know what I mean? It's just like, all right, whatever, you know, let's just go on and make some fantastic music. All in all, you know what I'm saying? I give it like 5 little Frank Zappa beard and mustaches. You know what I mean? You see these up here? That's my rating from it. You get 5 of those things, you know, sparkling and whatnot. You need to get this thing.
To find out more about Frank Zappa's Cheaper Than Cheap, please visit the official website and check out the description below this video. Thanks for watching, and please subscribe to CatSynth TV.
Hey, you're watching CatSynth TV!